What is up, everybody? It is tea time with Liz and friends. We are out here tonight once again for another live episode. Hope your Monday is going well. Come on in. It is time for the tea. So let my friends say something. What's up, ladies? You are muted, so go ahead and unmute those mics.
We just muted today.
Listen,
Right?
they kind of shut me up, but we
Well,
got tea to
shut up. We
spill.
started off muted.
And the cat won't let me finish my sentence.
Well, we started.
Huh?
That's how our day is going. Y'all muted.
Well,
Right.
well, how you
We got
feeling,
muted
Joe?
today, okay?
You feeling like a sister warrior? I see, huh?
Doing good. I'm glad to see you, ladies. It's been a
Yes. What's going on, cat?
Um, I'm exhausted, but I'm glad to be in this room today.
Okay, come on. All right, what's going on, Miss Desiree? We thank you for joining us. That's right. Go ahead and tag someone. Let them know it is tea time. We are live, and we are up for another new series. And I won't get into that because that's not my place tonight. But I want to give a quick shout out to my cousin for this lovely sweatshirt. It says "Coffee Weather." This is her new line, All Day Rocher. Shout out to my cousin Tori. If you don't want to check it out, I'll send you the link later. All right, that was a successful plug. All right, go ahead, Kwana. Give us the tea time announcements.
Well, on this evening, as, as I always want to let y'all know, remind you of check out our website again at www.teatimewithlizandfriends.com. Today is our Family Feud episode. It's going to be a part two as well to Family Feud episode. So you don't want to miss that on March 18th. Okay. Um, and our special guest will be Sister Aries. Did I say that name right?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Again, that's Family Feud, blended families. And today we're going to talk about some other awesome things, but I'll let Joe touch bases on that. But as we continue to move forward, also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to chime on in, add those questions in your comments. You can also email us with questions at any time. If you have any questions other than just comments, email us, shoot us an email. DM us as well because you can DM us. So
Slide into the DMs. We
that's
don't
right. There you go. Other than that, let's get this show started. Let me throw it back at Joe.
them DMs can be a little slippery, so be careful.
It's all right though. It's all right. We can handle it. We can handle it.
Right.
Well, these ladies have made my job a little bit easy today because they already told you that this season, this episode, this series is called Family Feud. And we will be talking about families and things of that nature. Everything to do with families. We started off with talking about relationships, and family is a part of the relationship, so we are going to get a little bit more detailed in that and what that dynamics look like. So let's get started. My first question is going to be, what did your family dynamic look like growing up? And that is going to, who wants to answer that question? Which one of you?
I can dive in and answer that question.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So family dynamics. Like I said, I lived with my mother and what 4 older siblings and 1 younger sister. And my dad came back in the picture roughly around I was 12 or 13. So I had a mixture, right? So I lived with a single parent, and then my dad popped in. So I had both of my parents for the duration of my high school and up, right? But wait, no. I also had living with my cousins. I had a couple of cousins we lived with. So it's a group of it was a full house. I would say a full house. So yeah, that's what my family dynamic was. with my older siblings, and then I had my older cousins moved in with us for a while, and then my dad came in the picture again, and so it was just when I say the Brady Bunch, maybe not the Brady Bunch, but that house was
Not the Brady Bunch. Here's the
right.
story.
But it was remember the movie Cheaper by the Dozen because
Come on.
That was my movie.
because there was a bunch of us, and so yeah, my family was very very close. Just I had huge family, cousins, family, just everybody stayed with us from time to time.
Okay.
Hmm.
What about you, Liz? What did your family dynamic look like?
Um, Listen, the Clark bunch, Clark squad, shout out to you guys. Okay. I was blessed to have both my parents. Hi, mom and dad. And I was the oldest of the four. I also have an older half brother. Um, who didn't grow up with us though, but yeah, I have two younger sisters and a younger brother. So that was my family dynamic. And more or less, I grew up in South Dakota. Shout out to the 605. Anybody out there? Okay, no, all right, that's what I thought. So understanding that dynamic, being biracial in a predominantly white community, had its challenges, but it was family that kept us together. So I'm grateful for them.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
That
How
sounded
about you,
like
Joe? How about you? What's your family dynamic looking like?
I have to back up a little bit and just say that sounded like your dynamic sounded like warm apple pie.
Oh, look at that.
Not warm apple pie. Come
Listen,
on
my
now.
mama can make some apple
Apple
pie
pie.
too. Listen, listen to Clark make you apple pie. You'll be all right.
Like warm apple pie. No, my family dynamic. I mean, what is that? What does that even
No, Joe,
mean?
what?
I
Tell
mean,
us. Tell us. What is happening? Oh no.
no, it was I see. I grew up in a single parent home. My father died when my mom was 8 months pregnant with me,
Mm,
so it was basically just me, my mother,
oh,
my brother, who's maybe couple few. I don't know how old. He's a couple of years older than I am. Um, and then he moved out when he was a little bit 12 or something like that, somewhere around that age. And then my mom had a baby, surprisingly. So it was a sister when I was like 14. I do have two other brothers on my dad's side, but I wasn't close to them. But for the most part, it was me, my mom, and my brother, but not all three of us at the same time. We just did our thing.
wow. Wow. We all came from some different backgrounds. Okay.
We got apple pie. We got cherry pie. Okay.
Okay.
We
Listen.
got peach, we
And we
got
had
peach pie.
chocolate pie down there.
Come on now.
All right now.
just full of it. Okay, just full.
It's all gravy.
That's what's
Oh
up. That's
man.
what's up.
Mhm.
But so Joe, let's dig into your because I feel like it's a little interesting. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
So knowing your family dynamic, not having um those different things, w- how did that make you feel as growing up? Did you have to look for a father figure?
Growing up, I didn't feel like I needed one. Like I didn't know I was missing one. Like what I had was normal.
Mm,
But at the same time, like my brother had one. He had like we didn't share the same dad on my mom's side. So I did at the same time because I saw he was able to go visit his dad and his dad would come and pick him up and all that kind of stuff. And I was sitting there like, I want to go over my dad's house, but I knew I couldn't. I wasn't sad. but it was just like, it is what it is.
Mhm.
But my mom dated and married a few times. It's another story. But but
As she coughs.
Right.
and I never adopted them as my father. Like I never claimed anybody to be my stepdad. I never called them dad. Some of them tried to make me, and I was like, "You're not my dad." I did not see anybody as a father figure until I got saved and
Mm.
went to church. And the pastor, Bishop Howe, was the first person I ever called
Aw.
a father figure.
Oh,
Shout out
First,
to
first.
Bishop.
And I told him this. He knows that. So yeah, yep.
That's
Is
what's
the
up.
so so yeah, I've learned, and that's sweet to me. And he always will be, that to me because
mhm.
it was special. So
I love
yeah.
that. I love that.
hmm
Mm, amazing. That's good.
So
That's good.
so yeah, with you know, I I don't know how that will make me feel like growing up, like as an adult, having that piece missing. So Liz, having both parents and having a father always there, um, do you feel like it affects, or that having both parents' thoughts and personalities affect your major decisions in your life? So like how your dad feels about certain things, or how he would react to certain situations versus your mom's reactions and opinions about certain situations. Do you feel like that affects your major decisions in life?
Yes, yes. Is this mic on? Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And all of the bishop board out there. If anyone knows, I am a PK, so you can understand. But no, honestly, my parents definitely instilled that fear, that I think some young people are missing today, and made sure that wherever we went, whatever we did, out of their sight, that we were a representation of them. So if something were to happen, that was, not to their likings, that was the first thing. First of all, it was my dad. What is dad gonna do? I'm gonna die. um, and
Not down, no.
listen. I mean, he's 6'3", big football player type dude. Who wants to mess up with that man?
Mhm.
um,
Yep.
and my mom, she was sweet and kind, the nurturing mom, but she still too did not play. She was like, "Listen here, if you heard that government name from Sister Clark, you're in trouble." um, and she had no problems whooping you. So yeah, it definitely, they definitely had an impact. Even when I moved here to Minnesota, for college the first time. Um, usually kids when they're away from their parents, they're like, "While out, see you later, bye. Don't call me. I won't call you." But I definitely had the fear, like, "Oh, hang on, they told me not to do these things. They told me not to be this way, and
Mhm.
I want to make these right decisions." And because of that, I'm grateful. I did. I stayed as close to the Lord as I possibly could, in
Amen.
those times and seasons of my life, and I'm grateful for those things. So you don't realize what your parents put into you until you jump out into this world and say hello.
Wow, that's deep right there. And that's true. That's true.
That
Right?
is very true.
Do
Very
you feel like when you're, because we're all single, not married
Yeah.
ladies, um, but when looking for a potential husband, do you feel like you're looking for characteristics that your father may hold? this is a safe place.
Wanna go ahead. You go ahead. You know, I just got done talking,
That's
sis.
not my question. That's not my question.
Oh, it's my question?
That's your question, Liz.
Asking you that question
Your
because
question.
she
Is the
asked
mic
me
still
that
working?
question.
Is the
She
mic still working? No.
Your question.
Um, Bishop Clark's shoes is hard to fill, okay?
Mhm.
And he has zero tolerance for foolery. Um, so yes, his requirements are definitely going to be different than the normal father. Once again, being a pastor's child, you know, he wants you to continue in the way. When I say the way, that means the belief, the Lord Himself. Okay, so that means that you know you cannot be unequally yoked. You have to bring somebody that knows the doctrine, that knows the belief. So he is not tolerating that. So you know, of course, you know, so I'm searching out here, trying, well, I'm not searching. I'm trying to be found out here. Oh,
So, so does
Come
that
on,
mean that you have
you
to
better change that statement.
wait?
right,
So
correction.
even at this
Correction.
age, even at this age, you have to bring your potential in front to get his
Yeah, well, but
approval.
you know, I'm grateful for that in a sense. Before I was like, he's crazy. But now that I have said yes to the Lord, this is recorded. I said yes, Lord. That I have said yes to the ministry, that I too have now realized I cannot be unequally yoked. I have to be
Mhm.
connected to someone that understands and can complement me in the spirit. You know,
Right.
I cannot raise, no offense, a babe in Christ right now. I need someone who can see in the spirit and be like, yo, sis, back up. Something's
That,
there, you know? So yeah, I think and 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 it's funny because just recently when I was, you know, trying to get back into these dating waters, my father gave me some wisdom. He's like, Liz, just be careful. You have ministry. You have to be careful of your the ministry that God has called you to. And I was like, yeah, I got it, Dad. It's fine. But his wisdom was correct. So we thank God for Bishop. Somebody tag him. But hang on, we gotta get Kawana here for a second because I feel like she got some tea to spill here. Hang on. We need to find out your dynamics here, sis.
I'm
And
just listening. I'm just listening. I'm just
I'm
soaking
just
it all in.
so let me ask Kat this the same question. Like, I mean, well,
yes,
it's not the
please
same question, but
ask her that.
since I didn't grow up with a father, like I never had to bring anybody home to meet dad. Like, did you ever feel like you had to bring somebody home to meet dad in your family dynamic?
Yes. Not only do they have to meet dad, but they have to go past my brothers.
Ooh.
Oh, she got brothers.
So I have
I
brothers.
got brothers, but I never
Plural,
like.
plural. She said brothers.
Brothers. So yes. So yes. Um, my family, my dad has a big opinion of who I'm dating. And my brother's opinion matters to me. If I can love them, like them, or whatever. But when my brothers be like, well, I don't know if he's the right one. I don't know about him. Let me think of, they're
Right,
giving me some insight.
right.
So not only do they got to get approved by my dad and my brothers, then my sisters fall in line because it's like boom, boom, boom. So we are such a close-knit family. Everybody opinion kind of
Mm.
matter. It doesn't really matter too much when it's that final decision because we're gonna love who you love. But believe me, if you can't get past senior Walter Williams, and then you have Junior Walter, Pastor Walter Ragland. Then you have my brother Ralph. who is going to just look and observe. He's not going to give his opinion too fast. He's going to watch you, and then he's going to give you his opinion based off your actions. So yeah.
See, you know what? Honestly, I used to think about that. Like, I wonder, and I didn't think about this until like recently as an adult. Like,
Uh-huh.
I wonder I would, how my life would have turned out if I had a dad. Like all these crazy guys that, or not, I'm not gonna call them all these crazy guys that I done dated. All the stuff that I
Fine,
had
it's
went
fine.
through, all the stuff that I had went through. I wonder if I would have went through those things if my dad was alive. You know what I mean? If
Right.
I had a relationship, if I had a father, you know what I mean? Like
But,
Mhm.
did you run them by your father figure, who you
Right.
call a father figure? Did you ever consider bringing them before him?
no, and I didn't know what a father figure was.
Mm.
Come on and talk,
That's
sis.
nice.
You
I
know,
like that.
I didn't know how to use one.
That's real.
That's
You know what I
okay. I
mean?
didn't know.
It's
You have
like
one, but how
I
do you
never
use
had one.
it?
What am I
That's
supposed to
real.
do with this?
That's real.
Right,
That's
You
right,
know?
right. So then I'll ask you this: since I'm a step away from the fathers because you were raised in a single mother's home. So
Mhm.
what was your mother opinion? Did she have an opinion
Mm.
of the man? Did you have to bring them to your mother? Because mothers are very strong, influential. And so I'm just saying, my mom wasn't no joke. Okay. Look, my mama will read you from the inside out and then tell you about yourself. I'm just saying.
Listen, my mama told me.
Uh-oh.
My mama told me you better shop around. No, no, she didn't say that. No.
Yes. She said that ain't it, sis.
Right.
My mama told me that I can't have. Okay, amen, Brittany. But my mama told me that I can't have a boyfriend until I'm 18.
Okay.
Okay. She tried to set that foundation. Now, we've all been teenagers before. And for our mamas to tell us what we cannot do, what?
We're doing it.
We're doing it. I'm grown.
Right. We know.
I'm
We
a grown
know.
teenager.
Ain't paying no bills, but we know.
No bills. I'm grown. So so I had a boyfriend that she didn't know. So no, I would never bring a boy to my mama.
Really?
You know.
Oh,
But then
wow.
I did. But of course I did. But did I bring her to for her approval? No, because I already knew she didn't approve.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Okay,
That's good.
so that brings a
That's
question.
good.
I want to ask a general question, spontaneous here, because Kawana said something about this earlier. Family opinions. Okay, so we've talked about mothers and fathers. Now you got brothers and sisters involved too. So does family opinion matter when it comes to even, I mean, from obviously intimate relationships, but also like moves, job careers, anything that you do in your life? Does it affect you, and why? Kwana? Because you got the most. You got a whole jury to go through.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes and no.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to say yes because my sister, she's my sister Kay. She always will tell us there's pros and cons to everything. Get you a piece of paper and write your pros and cons down. Um, even when you're looking at everybody else's opinion on something, write what your pros and cons, what you like and what you don't like, and go based off of that sometimes. Because sometimes, even though your siblings are giving you their opinion, make sure you have a solid opinion in the back of your head before you make that final decision on whether you want to be with somebody or you don't want to be with somebody. And so she would always tell us that. And so her opinion does matter to me, but not so much in every single thing, because sometimes they're looking on the outside and we're on the inside.
Right.
So they can see things that we can't see. And so to answer that question, yes, it does. And but it varies, right?
Yeah.
With jobs, with your raising, how you raise your kids. I'm just being for real,
Right. Right.
because
We all got kids. Yeah.
we all have kids, and sometimes we can be doing one thing, but our siblings can be like, "You're not doing that right. Maybe you need to change it up." You know. So I have I have three mothers, right? I have my biological mother, and then I have my oldest sister, and then my other's oldest sister. So I have two older sisters. Those were my moms, like, because they will discipline us, and their opinions did matter. I think the older I got, the more I realized I didn't have to wait for their opinion or ask them for their opinion of the choices that I made.
Mhm.
But when they're older than you actually rely on their opinions. That's
That's
just
good. Okay. All right, Joe. What you got to say? Does your
Well,
family opinion matter? Does it matter?
I have learned to be real careful with what who I ask what,
mhm,
because I can't
That's good.
bring everything to everybody. There's
right.
certain information that I trust with certain people. So
Mhm,
if I know, if I bring certain information, like I want to move into a certain house, um and this person just got evicted. My cousin just got evicted, and she's bitter because she got evicted. I'm not going to bring that information to her, because she's going
right.
to operate out of that mind frame of being evicted. I'm going to bring it to somebody who's clear minded right now.
Yep.
But I do value the wisdom that my family members have carried, and
Mhm,
that's important.
Right.
Where are they in life? What kind of wisdom
mhm,
do they have? Some of them may be older than me, some of them may be younger than me, same age, but what have they accomplished for themselves in their lives, relationship, in their finances, their
mhm,
businesses, their
Right.
home, spiritually, emotionally, physically, where are they in life? Because you just can't get information from anybody. They gotta have wisdom in some kind of way. So I'm all for with talking to them about it. So
Great point. Great point. You
yeah.
better not go to no person who don't got nothing, ain't doing nothing, and asking them no question, because you gonna be just like them, not doing nothing, don't got nothing. I'm
It's
sorry.
the blind leading the blind.
Exactly.
Well, one of our members out here tonight says, yes, the family opinion matters because we always move away from family and we have to come back home later, which is honor. I mean, which is true. And then they also said, honor your mother and father, not obey.
That's
Um,
right.
they have wisdom we don't have, and that's true. That is definitely
Mhm.
true. Honoring is definitely required
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
in it all. So, um, but I think that definitely plays a role in a lot of our life decisions and who we become is the family opinion. Sometimes that's heavy. Sometimes that's can be toxic and hard to maneuver to find who we are. And so I love how you said that, Joe. I go to the ones who I know can handle it in a sense,
Mhm.
basically, or have the wisdom and the capacity to give me the right guidance. So being wise on what you share. I had to learn that the hard way. Um, I shared everything just throwing up. I was throwing the tea. Okay. And then I regretted it because then I had a different view. Because as you evolve and mature, not get old, you mature, right?
Mhm.
Your mind changes, and so you don't see things or you don't see people in certain ways, and so you've painted this picture of a person that's not true anymore, right?
Mhm.
Because now you've discovered that's not true for you, right? And so what you've painted for them, now that's all they see,
Mhm.
and now you have to deal with the consequences. And so it's really taking the time to deal with those issues and those feelings before you start regurgitating how you feel.
That's facts.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, what's up next? Who we antagonizing next, Kat?
So, I mean, Joe, I think I kind of asked this question for you, to you already. But what are some positive tools your mother instilled in you that you use today?
One thing that I tell people a lot about my mama is that she has really taught me, and I'm not going to say taught me, like sat me down to teach me, but just shown as an example by me watching her to how to be independent, you
Mhm.
know, how to not rely on other people to do. I mean, that's a blessing and a curse at the same time, but
Mhm.
it was kind of like she set me up to make it through life. Like there's been times when I had to take care of my kids and be a single parent by myself.
Right.
So without even thinking about it, I just threw the kids on my back. Let's go. We got to do this. Threw what I needed to do on my back. Let's do. I got to do it. Not without a second thought. I didn't take the time to think about it. It's just something
Mhm.
that I needed to do. And this is something that I thought that I knew that I learned about from my mom. She made sure that we never went without. We always
Right.
had a roof over our head. Our our bills was always paid. Lights was always on. Water, soap, clothes on our back. Everything. We never went without.
Right.
And that was something that she always instilled. And to this day, my kids can say the same thing. They may not have had everything that they wanted, but they had
Mhm.
everything that they needed. And I can say that for my kids as well. And I thank God for that. That was nobody but God, because I'm
Right.
sitting here
Right.
trying to figure it out myself. Like, how did I even make it through? How did my
Right.
mama even make it through?
Right.
You know? And
Right.
and
Right.
and,
Right.
and I know she wasn't making as much money as I'm making now, and I'm go through struggle with the inflation.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Inflation,
Said amen to that.
inflation.
Said amen to
But it's nobody but God. I give glory
Right.
to
Right.
God.
that. Glory to him. Glory to the
However he
King.
has provided, putting people in my life, things just falling, from heaven. I thank God. So that's what she has installed in me. Just make through. You can't cry over spilled milk. All you got to do is keep going. If
Keep
there's a
going.
detour does not mean stop. It does not mean there's the end of the world.
That's
What
right.
it means is, guess what? There's another
Say
way
it for the
around it.
people in the back.
Even though it
Correct.
may mean that it's going to take you a little bit longer to get there, you're still going to get there. Keep
Say
going.
it there. Keep going.
That's what she installed
So
in me.
You're preaching out here tonight.
right. So then here's this. Okay, so I'm going to take it this way. What are some things you say you'll never do that your mom did to you?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Or even if not to you, but some things that she did as when you were a child that you said you'll never do to your kids.
What one thing, and I actually just mentioned that this morning to somebody else, is and I'm not blaming her for it.
Right.
Just the physical touch of showing that she
True
loved,
affection. Oh,
physical
Mm.
affection.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I try to show my kids that.
That's good.
I
Awesome.
had to learn that, like, you know, growing up, that kids need that. So when I learned that, I try to show that more to my kids because I didn't have that, you
Mhm.
know, and that's what I try to show my kids because I didn't have that from her.
That's,
And not that I'm like, oh, my mama didn't love me, she never touched me. No, no.
yes, please.
I know that I know that it's needed because it's a
Yeah,
part of intimacy. It's a part of getting to know
right.
your
Yes.
child. It's something that is intimate between a mother and a child.
Mm.
And even though you have that, well, most mothers have that during the infancy stage, that should not be severed as they grow. And it does. And mine's did at one point with my kids, and it did with my mom, but I wanted to get that back with my kids. So it gets a little weird when it's teenagers, so now I kind of I force myself on my kids. That sounds kind of weird, but
But that's real. That's
I give
real.
them a hug. Yeah, I give them a hug, or I give them a kiss when they don't want it, and I get mom, but I didn't have that, so that's
Brittany says, I
She said
said
she.
I'll never yell at my kids to get my point across, and I do, and I'm working on it. Listen, sis, listen. We all say we ain't gonna do something, but that DNA is in us. It's in
It's
us.
in us. It's in us.
It is in us. As much as we try to shake it, it's in us. And
this question is for both of you guys. Have you ever had a moment where you be like, I sound just like my mama?
I just had that moment today.
Is that a yes, cat?
Let me say this. I don't know if y'all mother ever said this, but my mom said this. She said, "Run around here with." She said, "I don't know who she was yelling at, but she said, y'all run around here with these little pissy tail girls."
Come on.
I was arguing at my son's, and they because he did something just crazy with some little girl, and I said, You're running around here with them little pissy tail fans and girls. See, that's the problem. That's the I had to step back and was like, oh my goodness, I sound like my mama. I said, pissy tail girls. That is straight old school. Come on now. Pissy
Listen,
tail girls. I was cracking up. So yes.
well,
Oh
looks like
my
you got
goodness.
somebody else on your side, Koana, right there. All the
Tail, come
yes.
on.
Okay, Kawana, because I want to hear more. Because it looks like your mom and your dad, a lot of people have influence. So, when you're looking at your family dynamic, what else has caused this effect of you quoting some things of your life? So what other things has come out of your life from this family dynamic? In what ways have your mother and father influenced you in this way of life?
My mom, whew, my mom was a very strong woman, business minded, always on the move, loving, not judgmental. But she was strict, right? She will always say this, and this is something that stick with me till this day: know who you are and whom's you are.
Mm,
Um, Never fall for the okey doke.
okay.
And mean what you say and say what you mean. She with six, she had six. It was six of us. With six of us, the time that my dad was not in the picture, um, she stayed. She worked. She was a workaholic, and not only that, she was a nurturer. And when her some of her siblings failed, she was there to help them.
Mm,
She opened her doors. to her sibling kids. She took on the role as not just a mother but an aunt at the same time. Um, to me, my mother was someone who just was able to stand on her own. And even if when my dad was there and he was helping out, my mom was like, okay, and I'm still in this business mode mind.
Yeah.
And so what I take from her is her non-judgmental, her strength, but also her love for Christ. Um, she loved the Lord. And when we didn't even have, let me just tell y'all, there were kids knocking at our door. And she will bring them in. She will feed them and clothe them. And those are some of the things that I took away from her. It doesn't matter how much you had or how little you had. It's about what you do with what you have. That means more than anything. And so that was very important to me, to not have that judgmental mindset, and don't judge things by the way they look, right? But always open your mind up and be objective to everything. From my dad was a runner. He ran away from a lot of things, ran away from responsibilities and things like that. And I got that. I actually had that. I ran away from a lot of things until I found Christ. And that's when I realized running isn't good. You have to stand and face the facts. You have to stand and face whatever option that comes across your way. So I would definitely say the negative thing I got from my dad was he was a runner, but he was also a provider. He was a workaholic. My dad is 70. He'll be 75 this year. He actually just stopped working last year at 73 or 74. So, and he was such a provider. I couldn't stand my dad though. Like, couldn't stand him from time to time. But his love was based on his providing. And that's how he showed his love, by providing and giving, and making sure the home was kept. Even when he did not have, he made a way. So those are some of the things. They were both providers, very strong-minded and providing individuals. So yes.
So, if anybody has hung out with Kawana, everything she said, that is her. Okay, let me just say, she is her mother and father's child. Mostly her mother. Okay, mostly her mother. Um, she has no tolerance. She will tell you how it is and where to get off. But she will love you. She will love you through it. I promise that.
I love you, but I'm not going to fool with your
She'll give
foolery.
you a piece of candy and say God loves you. But what we're not going to do is have some foolery out here.
Snap and give it a piece of candy when she's done. Now here you go, baby.
Now here you go. Like she tried to get me. I'm gonna just confess. She tried to get me last night. Trying to act like a mother. I call her the mother of the church. All right. I love her so much.
Listen, I have a bad, and even at church, sometimes the kids be like, Miss Candy Lady.
My witness. Come on, receipts right here. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Any other receipts out here? Real and down to earth. Yes. I love it.
Yes. I try my best, but it's hard though, right? Because it's those family dynamic things that we just talked about. And one of the questions, Liz, here's a question.
We're not done with you yet.
Okay, go ahead.
See how she's trying to get it? See, she's just like her mama.
Flip it over.
Trying to control the situation.
Right.
I love you. No, but so all those things that you talked about, as far as how your mom had such a strong work ethic and even your father being a provider, but just the love of Christ your mother had, just all these different wonderful characteristics that has made who you are today. Um, how has this influenced in the way you've made your choices and decisions? Because I know you, but others may not know, but you are a single mom. You know, you have your ups and downs. And so through those different times in your life, how has their voices been essential in making some tough decisions?
Ooh, I can I can always hear my mom say it's going to be okay.
Hmm.
It's going to be okay. Um, and she would say,
Sorry.
um, "Did you pray about it?
Mm,
Um, what do you think?" And those things right there, and I always take those things because I say, "Okay, did I pray about it? Did I ask the Lord to give me some guidance with that?" And then I'll also go back to what my sister tells me to do: write it out, write it down. Um, was it a wise choice? Are you making a wise choice? Always remember there's a reaction for every action. So everything that I do, there's a reaction to it.
that's cool.
And I had to hold on to those things because the way we react to things are so important, and the things that we choose are so important. I would I could I was so afraid at times in my life because to grow, to in my career I was afraid to grow. Um, in relationships I was afraid to move forward and grow, and build. And I could hear my mom saying, "What are you doing?"
Mm,
And that stopped me in my tracks.
mm.
Because when I don't know if you guys know, but you know how your mom, "What you doing?"
Right, right, facts.
You get that jump like,
Get
What you
that mama voice, or that look, that mama look.
right, like, "What you doing?" And then and I would slow down. I will slow down in my tracks from the choices that I make. Even when I lost my mom, that was one of the most devastating things. One of the most devastating things that I
Mm,
could ever imagine. When my mom was my best friend, she was my confidant. She made me think that I can conquer the world because
mhm.
I had her by my side, right?
Yeah.
So when I lost that piece, I felt like I lost a piece of me.
Mm,
And I couldn't, I felt like I wasn't going to move forward. I felt like I was stuck. And I heard my mom say, "What are you doing?"
Mm.
mhm.
And it wasn't my mom, it was the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But he used
allowing
that
me to
voice.
hear
Yeah,
that
yeah,
voice
yeah,
to say, "What are you doing?
yeah,
Get
yeah.
it together.
Wow.
I thought you wasn't going to be like this."
Wow.
Wow.
I felt like I was going crazy because my dad wasn't there. And even though I have my siblings, right? They're hurting just as much as I'm hurting.
Yeah.
So everybody can't communicate because we can't really lean on one another because we're all going through a grieving process. And so it was just so, now I've been in church my whole life, but I did stray away, right?
Yeah.
So when my mom said, "What are you doing?"
That
I
was
got to scratching my head,
fact.
and I had to do a U-turn in my life.
Mhm.
And that is when I realized I needed Jesus more than anything. Because if I ever wanted something more, if I ever wanted to hear my mom's voice, if I ever want to either get a chance or a glimpse and of to just be able to hear her or feel her spirit again, I had to stay connected with Christ.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what kind of pushed me and shaped me back to where I'm at today. Um, it was the best gift my mother could have ever given me was to know Jesus Christ. And taking it in full circle, that's the best gift that I can ever give my kids is Jesus Christ. And I swear on it. I used to always think she was crazy from time to time when she used to be yelling and screaming in the house, doing holy oil on us at 5 o'clock in the morning when you coming from the club and you're drunk and your mama in there praying over you, reading scriptures at 5 o'clock in the morning.
See, you know what? Can I say
That's
something?
real.
Right
That's
quick?
real.
Just listening to you ladies talk, I'm like in awe because it's like I would have loved that. Like I didn't
You say
have
that. You
I
say
didn't
that.
have that growing up. Like I didn't have that growing up. Like my mama was out here kicking and partying, getting drunk, you know. And even as a kid, like I craved, like I was sneaking going to church. Like I was in the pew going to church by myself, but the choir is talking about we got a right to lift them up. I was joining choirs. My mama was like, "Don't you go to that church no more?" And you know, and I desired to be in
Wow.
church as a
That's
kid. I was
crazy.
sneaking. I used to get whoopings because I was going to church. I was sneaking. My mom would tell me not to go
Wow.
to church, and I would sneak and go to church, and I would get whooped.
But I think that's what we always, when we hear other people's dynamics, we're
Mm-hmm.
always like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
growing up, I didn't know anything else because like that's all I knew was God. Like we went to church 24/7, and I was like, I just want a break. I wanted to be like you, Joe. I
You guys
just want,
Right.
I just want,
I want to go and see what Joe and them doing over here on the corner.
I just want to
you
go
I
guys
back.
at church.
were surrounded by like so much wisdom and by both
But
sides.
but to be honest, we wouldn't I didn't know that at the time. At the
Mm-hmm.
time I felt I was restricted from life. But then now that I've come into my own, then you're like you're grateful. And then once again, you have people like you that hear your dynamic, you're like, oh dang, I guess I am privileged and I
Right.
should be very humbled to have what God had ordained to see family to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not every family is perfect, but what you
Right.
have, regardless, if it's one parent, two parent, adopted parents, whatever the case may be, we
Yeah.
have to find the privilege of this journey of family, right?
Yes.
And I love how full circle we always find our way back to God. So,
Yes.
um, all right, Kawana, you get one more question for me. That's why you always gotta take us to church? I'm over here almost in tears. I was like, dang, we all sentimental and stuff.
We about to take up offering. Where the
Yeah.
offering? Because cat over here preaching and stuff.
I want to try to. I'm just I'm like,
Man.
one more question. One more. Oh, goodness gracious. So it's my time. Look, now I can ask you a question.
You get one more question, sis. One more.
No.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness. Oh my god. See, this got caught up. Um,
I know. I'm trying to check it too. It's fine. For
Come
real,
on,
like
y'all. Come on,
seriously,
y'all.
like
yeah.
you don't understand what God is doing until you come out of it, right? You just
Right.
you feel underprivileged, you feel, misused, mistreated, talked about, all that,
All
you
that.
know. But yet and still, now looking at us today, you would have never known
Never
No.
know.
who we become
No.
through those dynamics of our life's journey.
Or what we
I
can
mean,
do.
that's just us, our adolescence growing up. That's not even talking about our teenage years, our adulthood, our young
Right.
adulthood, our journeys as single moms,
Right.
divorcing, and so forth. The journey goes on, saints out there.
It does. It does. It
But this is
does.
just a
It's true.
glimpse, and I'm sure some of you out there definitely can relate to this as well, in a sense of, your family feud, whatever your dynamic looked like,
Mhm.
there's always some type of dysfunction, but guess what? There's also some type of blessing. I
Yeah.
always say this: there is always a generational anointing. And that's what I feel brought you back, Kawana.
Yeah.
That's what I was feeling when you said God made that U turn for you. God
Yes.
was drawing you back to the rightful anointing, that anointing that carried you through, the anointing that your mom poured into you.
Mhm. Yeah.
You could not, I don't care how much you tried to sabotage it, you couldn't get away from it.
No.
And for you, Joe, it was like this was a new generation for you to establish, to break all curses. I mean, granted, we don't know. This could have been something connected to your father.
Amen.
Whatever the case may be, but God saw fit. However, our Heavenly Father saw us in some type of way. I tried
Yes.
to sabotage my life several times. Touch this world, okay? I'm just gonna be very honest out here.
I think we all have, but
Listen,
Right.
no,
Right.
no, sis was not trying to do it, okay? But nevertheless, God saw fit, but yet God saw fit. And so, in spite of the family feud, we have a Heavenly Father who keeps his family together and
Yes.
keeps us thriving and keeps us going. So, um, I'm just grateful for all of you who tuned in tonight. I'm grateful for my sisters here tonight, for their journey, for the beautiful gems that they are, diamonds, more than valuable. But they are single, and if you wanted to happen to the DMs, go.
Please don't slide. Don't slide. Don't slide.
I said tap. I said tap. Well, one of them you can. I'm not going to discuss the other one. Okay.
I want to say thank you to Brittany.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you for all the receipts tonight on Kawana as well. All right, Kawana, you get one more question. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So, when did you see your family dynamic affect your life?
When I went through my divorce and
Mhm.
separation, because I grew up in a two-parent home. I grew up, my parents, even though they would have disagreements, they worked it out. Um, there was nothing that was going to keep them apart. Me and my siblings today, we still call them, we say they're Velcro. There's nothing they can't do apart. Like seriously, if they take a day trip by themselves, it's like life and death. But that honestly, that's the way it should be. Like, you want to be connected to your best friend, right? And
Yes.
so that's what I saw. And so when mine did not show out to be that way,
Mhm.
um, I felt like I failed. I felt like I've messed up. And now I have this um, somewhat curse on me, and I'm like, now my son has to deal with a two-parent separated home, and that was never what I wanted for my son, never. But all in all, God has shown me that it's okay. Co-parenting can definitely be a blessing if you allow yourself to heal properly. Not
Mhm.
looking at the other person and faulting the other person or using the kid to try to cover that damage of healing, but to actually keep your child in the forefront
That's big.
and working together to make that child's life the best life.
Mhm.
You will see them thrive. And I could definitely testify to that because my son is doing amazing. If you know him, he is autistic. And because of our co parenting dynamic, I think that is why he thrives. Me being able to, share those things with his father to share things with me. I mean, even at this time, he's living with his father, and I mean, now I'm feeling the butt end of the stick. He told me this weekend, talking about we can't go to the movies no more. I'm going with my dad. Like that broke my heart, but it touched my heart so like it melted me because I'm like, dang, like that's all I wanted for him. And honestly, that was something little does anybody know, that's what I swore to him when he was a tiny baby. I said, I don't care what happens between me and your father. I said, I will never keep him from you, because that has nothing to do with him. You know, my feelings and what I had for that man, it had nothing to do with him. So, going back to that question, yes, that's where I feel like my life experience was.
No, that's real because as single parents, we don't want to keep our child from their fathers and from their mothers. And I'm definitely going to say hands down, Liz, because that's hard, to say, okay, I'm gonna let go, because first and foremost, letting go is very difficult,
Yeah,
right?
very much so.
I don't care how it looks, especially when that child is always with you and you're saying, okay, I'm giving over my parental control to the father now.
Yeah.
And that right there is a mouthful, right?
It
That's
is. It is. But and I'm gonna be very honest. It was God Himself that told me that it was okay, that it was time, because I was being controlling. He literally told me I was being controlling, and showed me myself, and that's being, I had to be honest, I had to, if I wanted to mature and get closer to God, I had
Mhm.
to take that. And I found myself, yes, being controlling, limiting his visitation, limiting him, being here, being there, whatever the case may be. And just being able to trust, because his father's never given me a reason that he's never kept him safe.
Right,
He's never threatened to kill him, and he doesn't do drugs. He's not a thug out here. He's not a serial killer, none of
right,
that. So I'm grateful for that, right?
I think that's just natural as a mother. We just want to
Right.
model just to make sure that
We're exactly, we're natural nurturers, and,
yeah.
but yet, I hate to say, but women, we can be controlling, and we have to be careful that it's not causing an effect in our children's lives,
Right.
though, right?
Yep. Yep.
mhm,
And that we learn um to co-parent both ways,
Mhm.
and now I'm seeing how he felt the other way, and now I have to make an extra effort. So listen, it takes God. Listen, this is no ability by Elizabeth Clark. Okay.
come
Tell you
on now, say it.
tell you that.
That's real. That's
Yeah.
real. And that healing process, again, the healing is a healing process. And we have to heal through all those things to advance and continue to move forward in it. And that's the point. That's the part right there.
To
Yeah,
process. The key word is process. A lot of
That's
people try to
right.
rush
yes.
through. It's a process because whoo,
Process effects.
you can't just go through something, especially if it's big. The bigger the situation, the
Facts.
longer the process. So you would need to
Yeah,
allow yourself to
Yeah,
go through that process to heal,
that's
because
facts.
right.
some things take longer to heal. And whew,
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do another tea time on that one, because that's a whole nother tea.
oh,
That's a whole nother tea time. Listen,
A whole
stories,
different conversation.
stories for days, son. Stories for days out here.
yes.
But um, we are going to wrap this session up. This has been amazing, you all. Thank you all for tuning in to Tea Time with Liz and Friends. Ladies, thank you for your transparency. Kwana, any last comments, any last things you want us to know about the family feud if we struggling in this thing called life?
I think Joe just said, we just said it, the healing, the process. Face the process, deal with it, face it head on, 10 feet down, however you want to say it, 10 toes down. Face the reality that you're going through and deal with it. And don't run. Don't
Amen.
run from the process. Stand still and allow God to do what he needs to do for the healing to come.
I love it. All right, Miss Joe, you got a last word for the people?
Before I say the last words, I just want to give a shout out to the people in the chat room. You guys have shown us some
Thanks.
love. this, there's been too many big comments and stuff like that that we didn't get a chance to bring up to the forefront. Thank you guys for your love and support, and just giving us shout outs. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
um Share, let people know about us. We gonna be
Yes.
here. We gonna be here.
Like,
We got
we
some
here and
we
we
got
ain't going nowhere.
some
Okay.
exciting things coming out. Support. But I guess my final words, not final words, but words is just love on your family. It's just, you never know when's the last time you're gonna see them, or you know, some things are just not worth it. You
Mm,
know,
come on.
we always gonna argue. We're always gonna fight. Make time to just love on your family. Let them be mad at you. Give them a hug anyways. Call them, say, I'm just checking on you. I know you hate me, but whatever. I love you. We're family. We're family. So family feud. That's what we do. Family. We feud.
Okay.
We love
You
each other.
fight through it. Come on.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what's up. That's what's
Yes.
up. That's what's up. All right, saints and friends and tea friends. We thank you once again. If you'd like to donate to us, our Cash App is here on the screen. We would love for you to sow a seed into this ministry, this podcast. We are on the run to do some great things, and we will be telling you about that actually probably next tea time. We are
Yes.
definitely excited about. If you like to like us on our podcast platforms, you can definitely do so on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Amazon. Child, listen, any podcast you can find out there, I think we on there. Okay, so you can listen to this episode tomorrow on those platforms as well. But definitely, like Jonisha said, go ahead, tag a friend, let them know if they would love to hear this tea that will be encouraging to them. Share the tea. That's what this is about. We are here to share the tea that restores the soul, not to gossip, but to restore the soul. So until our next episode, we hope that you all have a great week, a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Tea Time with Liz and Friends. All right, have a good one, guys.
Good night.
Good night.